In the world of One Piece, the relationship between the Marines and the Celestial Dragons is fundamental to the power structures governing the world government. The Celestial Dragons, descendants of the original founders of the world government, enjoy immense privilege and protection, often to the detriment of the people and the Marines themselves. However, despite their apparent loyalty, several moments in the story foreshadow a potential betrayal by the Marines. This video argues that the Marines will inevitably turn against the Celestial Dragons, using concrete evidence from the manga to support the claim. But before we get started, please make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I love having these discussions, making these videos with you guys in the comments. I can't build this community without you. Share it with a friend, it's free. Now back to the video. The Marines, especially high-ranking officers like Fleet Admiral Sakazuki or Akainu, have displayed clear dissatisfaction with their subservience to the Celestial Dragons. The discontent stems from the contradiction between the Marines' stated mission to uphold justice and their role as enforcers of the Celestial Dragons' will, which is often anything but just. One of the clearest examples of this is Akainu's argument with the Five Elders, the highest known authority within the world government. During the Reverie arc, Akainu expressed frustration at being left out of decisions regarding the Shichibukai system and Doflamingo's manipulation of Dressrosa. He openly questions the decisions made by the world government and expresses a desire for greater autonomy. This tension suggests that Akainu and other Marines may not be entirely loyal to the Celestial Dragons, who often prioritize their interests over global stability. Akainu's resentment can be seen as a foreshadowing of a larger break between the Marines and the Celestial Dragons. His extreme sense of absolute justice is at odds with the whimsical and tyrannical behavior of the Celestial Dragons, which the Marines are often forced to tolerate or enable. This ideological rift between the Marines' mission and their reality is a ticking time bomb, and Akainu's defiance is evident that a betrayal could be brewing. One of the strongest pieces of evidence for an eventual Marine betrayal comes from the introduction of Saint J. Garcia Saturn, one of the Gorosei during the Egghead arc. In chapter 1092, Saturn refers to ordinary humans as bugs, and reveals a chilling contempt for those outside the elite Celestial Dragon class. This attitude reflects the broader worldview of the Celestial Dragons, who see themselves as divinely superior to all others. The significance of Saturn's words lies in the way they contrast with the values held by many with the Marines. While some Marines, such as the notorious Rob Lucci, align with this elitist mentality, others like Fujitora openly oppose the Celestial Dragons' abuse of power. Fujitora's campaign to abolish the Shichibukai system and his disdain for the world government's cover-up of Doflamingo's crimes highlight his belief in a more just and equitable world. This moral divide between the Marines and their superiors is unsustainable, and Saturn's disdain only heightens the tension. The Celestial Dragons' dehumanization of ordinary people, including the very soldiers who protect them, is likely to fuel a revolt. If the Marines come to see themselves as nothing more than pawns for a corrupt and arrogant ruling class, the seeds of rebellion will be sown. Saturn's words are not just an expression of elitism, they are a harbinger of the growing divide between the Marines and the world government's true masters. Throughout One Piece, we have seen instances of Marines questioning the morality of their orders. Aokiji, for instance, famously left the Marines after losing his duel with Akainu, disillusioned with the direction the organization was heading. His decision reflects a broader dissatisfaction within the ranks of the Marines, especially among those who see the Celestial Dragons as obstacles to true justice. Another example is Smoker, who has frequently questioned the government's actions and shown a strong sense of personal justice. After witnessing the horrors of Dressrosa and the lengths to which the world government would go to protect a tyrant like Doflamingo, Smoker's disillusionment became even more apparent. His loyalty lies not with the Celestial Dragons, but with his own understanding of justice, and he is not alone in this sentiment. Fujitora's actions during the Dressrosa arc are another clear example of Marine dissent. By kneeling before King Riku and acknowledging the Marines' complicity in the suffering of Dressrosa, Fujitora symbolically rejected the world government's authority. He even refused Akainu's direct orders to arrest Luffy and Law, prioritizing his own moral compass over blind obedience. Such acts of defiance suggest that a faction within the Marines may already be distancing themselves from the celestial dragons. Fujitora, introduced as a staunch advocate for justice, has consistently voiced his opposition to the corruption and tyranny of the world government and the celestial dragons, one that doesn't involve protecting the interests of the corrupt elite. On the other hand, Greenball, a relatively new character, is portrayed as more of a loyalist to the world government. In contrast to Fujitora's moral compass, Greenball's admiration for Akainu and his view that absolute strength can enforce peace aligns him more closely with the militaristic and authoritarian aspects of the government. His willingness to support the status quo shows that he is, for now, a protector of the Celestial Dragon's regime. The fact that these two admirals fought each other at Merijois, the seat of the Celestial Dragon's power, is significant. Merijois is the heart of the oppressive regime, a symbol of the power the Celestial Dragons hold over the world. For a battle between Marines to take place there indicates not only defiance but also the vulnerability of the Celestial Dragon's rule. Fujitora's willingness to fight his own comrade in this context is a bold act of rebellion. He is willing to defy orders and even confront a fellow Marine to uphold his principles. This confrontation reflects a deeper conflict brewing within the Marines. One side, represented by Fujitora, seeks to reform the corrupt system, while the other, represented by Greenball, appears content to maintain the status quo. As this ideological divide grows, it becomes increasingly likely that the Marines will fracture, with those like Fujitora leading a rebellion against the Celestial Dragons. Garp's role in the Marine organization and his complex relationship with both justice and rebellion offer a unique perspective on the eventual potential for a Marine uprising against the Celestial Dragons. Known as Hero of the Marines, Garp is a legendary figure within the Marine ranks, yet his actions, principles, and defiance of authority have set a precedent that may ultimately lead to a deeper rebellion against the corrupt powers controlling the world. Finally, it is important to consider the broader historical and thematic context of One Piece. The series repeatedly emphasizes the theme of revolution and the fall of oppressive regimes. It's a clear parallel to historical empires that have crumbled under the weight of eternal dissent and popular uprisings. The revolutionary army led by Dragon exists as the ultimate force opposing the Celestial Dragons, but even within the world government's own ranks, there are signs of brewing revolution. The Marines, who represent the military arm of the world government, are not immune to these revolutionary undercurrents as they continue to witness the injustices perpetrated by the Celestial Dragons, and as their own sense of justice is eroded, it becomes increasingly likely that they will join the ranks of the revolutionaries or initiate their own coup. After all, many Marines like Fujitora and Aokiji already share similarities with the revolutionaries, seeking a world free from the tyranny of the world government's elite. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Again, share the video with a friend. It's free. And I'll see you in the next video, or down below. Down below the video, by the way. Pause. Peace.